Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
Welcome back. It is the Agony of Positivity podcast. I am Ross, joined by
Saul.
All right, we might hear a thud here. It's me lowering the chair to the microphone. All right, hopefully that did not come through. I'm having to bend over like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. How you doing?
I guess I'm alright.
Well, that's
I
guess that's good.
The scourge of COVID has swept over my family, so we've been dealing with that for the past 2 weeks.
Is everybody relatively okay, or?
Yeah, I mean, so my parents are, I think they had a moderate case of COVID.
Yeah.
So they are slowly, I think they're at the tail end of it now.
Right.
My mom broke out in a COVID rash, which I didn't know COVID could do that. So she's dealing with that now, but that's slowly disappearing. And then my sister, she had just a mild case where she just lost her taste and smell for a couple days.
Yeah, but not like the crazy respiratory stuff that is.
No,
which is
it wasn't
basically
a
probably the
severe
worst
case.
of it.
Yeah, it wasn't a severe case. It was a moderate to mild cases. So.
Well, it sounds like then there's a good chance they'll recover. So that's always good.
Yeah, I assume they will. I mean, I was talking to him last night, and he was back to his normal Igor self. So,
well, like I'm good till a meteorite gets me.
Yeah.
Try to think. Yeah, we got. So apologies for we missed last week. We had some plumbing issue. Going to share some information if you're a new homeowner. And you have an older house that has like the old cast iron stack that goes out to the street. There can come a day where you'll get, I guess it's called scaling, where it's basically just like from the metal, it starts, imagine like a heart attack where the artery starts to close.
Yeah.
So you usually will find out because you will have a clog down in your main line going out to the street where it's like, oh, well, everything drains and flushes and like it should. But there's a backup down there. They come out, they clear it, but then it backs up again. Then they do the camera thing through it, and they tell you that. Well, if you ever run into that, know that you're going to be spending a chunk of money, and it will take a while to get resolved. So, a little fear for everybody there, whoever has plumbing issues. That what you think is going to be like a couple $100 can turn into much more than that. So you were telling me, I think we can just jump into stuff because unfortunately I am on a little bit of a clock today, which usually isn't the case, but you have watched Red Notice?
Yes.
All right. I'm still going to take the time to play the bumper.
Something that could never ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
You chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
All right, that might have been super quiet, but what can you do? So so Red Notice, it's The Rock. It looks like Ryan Reynolds and
Gal
and
Gadot.
Wonder Woman. Okay.
Yep.
So basically, we have Black Adam, Wonder Woman, and Deadpool.
Yeah, sure. That's one way to look at it. Yep. I wish it was those characters. It might have been a better movie.
If it was those characters, but they played the same role. Like, they're just dressed up that way, but they never mention it, and they're just running around. That improves it.
It might have. I mean, so the reason I watch is because of Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Because I think she's a good actress. I don't think The Rock is a good actor. And Ryan Reynolds, I can't stand him either. So Gal Gadot was really bringing it to me here.
And did she let you down? Or was it the two guys?
It was. I mean, so she's hardly in it. Ryan Reynolds and The Rock's mostly in it, and it's just another classic Rock movie that's terrible.
Right. Well, it says it's the third collaboration. I'm looking at Wikipedia here because they did like that Central Intelligence movie, which I've seen the end of multiple times.
Yes, I have too. Yeah.
I forgot about that until I saw that. But yeah, so does it follow kind of like the same? I'm trying to think.
It's I'm trying to, so I don't ruin it for people if they want to watch this terrible movie. It's a buddy cop type film, I guess.
Yeah.
The Rock is a FBI agent, and Ryan Reynolds is a crook, is a con artist, and then Gal Gadot is also a jewel thief, and they're trying to get the Cleopatra eggs, which I looked it up. There's no such thing. They just made it up.
Well, I almost give them credit for that. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a strange question. How
Yeah.
come every time there's like a jewel thief,
Yeah.
it's like the athletic woman? Like, it's almost like Catwoman is the prototype for jewel thieves.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well,
the only male jewel
because-
thief you get is like Joker and Batman comics.
Well, and that's the one thing I could not buy into, because Ryan Reynolds' character is like a he moves like a CrossFit guy, and I'm thinking I don't believe that Ryan Reynolds is a CrossFit guy.
I mean, he's pretty athletic.
I don't know. I can buy it more in Deadpool just because he wears a mask and I can't see his face.
Right.
There's some times where he's where they're doing it and you can see it's a stunt double. It's not him.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Now, I will say, like, if I just looked at someone's face, like looking at the poster for this thing,
Yeah.
it would definitely be hard to be like, oh yeah, that's like a super athletic guy with the face for some reason on the poster.
Yeah.
Um,
I have never liked Ryan Reynolds in anything, and I want to like The Rock. He makes terrible movies. I don't understand why people keep putting him in movies, or he keeps accepting movies.
it
I don't
feels
know.
like he's very much the same character a lot of the time.
Yes.
I think he always does a good job for the part. It feels like it is clearly the part written for him.
So my wife and me were talking. So now let's see what you think about this. So,
Okay.
let's just say Netflix comes to you like, hey, we got the red notice for a movie. We can get The Rock. This is going to be a lot of money because he asks us for a lot of money, or you can get Jason Momoa, who's not as much money, but we can get him. Which one would you choose, Jason Momoa or The Rock?
The Rock's probably going to make me more money on my return.
Really? So you're going to choose The Rock? See, I would choose Jason Momoa just because he's a better actor.
Yes, but I'm at that point. I'm worried about making money, so it's probably going to be The Rock. Now, can I split the difference and just get Roman Reigns? Because that's kind of like both.
I don't know.
All I got to
It's
do
just-
is get like makeup guy to give him the Samoan style tattoo, and I think people would buy it.
See, I would just choose. I mean, Jason Momoa is just he has more personality than The Rock. Like you said, The Rock plays the same character in every movie he's in.
All right, let me phrase it to you this way: you're going to start a hamburger stand on a corner.
Yeah.
Do you want me to brand it with McDonald's or Tim's
Yeah.
Hamburgers?
See, I
You're interested
see, I'm
in
different.
making money.
I'm interested in making money. But see, I know. See, so here's what I'm thinking. If I'm seeing Tim's Hamburgers, I'm thinking, well, that might be pretty good hamburgers. If I'm seeing McDonald's, I'm thinking, okay, that's just garbage. Yeah, it's food, I guess, but
Technically,
it's not going to be
it is
very.
technically food.
Yes. See, so there you go. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yes. It depends on if you want money. Just like somehow Chris Pratt is now the voice of every character you've ever known.
Yeah.
Like
I-
Hollywood is the same as everyone else. Like I'm grouping Hollywood together, like major stuff where it's like, oh, this is the hot thing. We're all going to do this now. Like if we went back years ago, there was probably Beanie Babies in every single comedy that was made for a period there. Because
Sure.
that's all they understood. But then it came out later, and it was no longer relevant. Almost
Well,
like
yeah, I
Blizzard
mean-
does with video games.
It was kind of. I mean, it's back when we was growing up. I mean, Kevin Bacon was in every movie. So, and then Samuel L. Jackson was in every movie. It's like Hollywood just. Well, we got to go with this guy because he's in every movie. So yeah, I guess.
The hot hand, as it were.
So I guess The Rock is. See, I wouldn't even compare The Rock to Chevy Chase or Kevin Bacon or.
I'm sorry,
Samuel L.
I
Jackson.
enjoy The Rock way more than Chevy Chase.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That's not to say that Chevy Chase is bad, but
Yeah.
I just I get a lot of his movies are holiday classics or just good things in general. But
Sure.
those, even like growing up, those really aren't my type of movie.
Sure.
They should be. Like by all rights, a lot of the stuff that I like falls into that like National Lampoon stuff.
Sure.
But something about it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm going to watch a Rock movie over Pauly Shore, so sure. But,
What, the Weasel?
yeah. I don't know, man. I just, the movie, I think, is garbage. If you like The Rock,
If you can, I need you to fill time for just a second. I have to go rescue a dog, and I can't hit pause.
oh. Yeah.
So,
So,
be right back.
so yeah, I mean, I would just say that Red Notice is it's a mix between National Treasure, Fast and the Furious. It's just not a very good movie. I can't. Yeah, so I watched it last night, and I'm just like, wow, that was 2 hours of my life that I will never get back again.
Is that 2 hours for Red Notice?
Yes, 2 hours. Like I was telling the our audience, it's a mix between National Treasure and Fast and the Furious, and maybe the Italian Job, but not as good.
The Italian Job was the one that was the commercial for the Mini Cooper, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had a ride at Paramount's Kings Island, but it was either broken or the line was so long that it was never worth riding.
Now, I will give them props. They did use the classic bad guys, Nazis. So
Yeah.
I mean, you usually can't go wrong as a bad guy if you use Nazis, but they did.
There's going to come a day where we probably can't, but yeah, for right now, it's you're pretty much future proof. All right. Trying to think.
Future proof.
Yeah,
What?
like if you use not like the Indiana Jones movies, I
Oh, gotcha.
I can't imagine a day where it's like, can you believe like that they represented these as the evil bad guys?
Yeah.
Like, I'm hopeful that society will remain that they're always the bad guys there. Like
Yeah, one would hope, yes.
barring some insane conspiracy actually coming true. So
The since you mentioned Indiana Jones, I heard this one thing from Harrison Ford, which I thought was pretty funny. He said that during Indiana Jones in the last what was that last not Last Crusade.
there's Last Crusade, Crystal
not that one.
Skull,
No, not that one. Yeah,
Temple of Doom, Lost Ark.
that's it. The Ark. So he said that they needed a sword guy, which you know the scene that he's talking about. He's like, we needed a sword guy, so we got this guy who's really good at swords and everything, and he was training for months to do this scene, and he's like, when he gets there, he finds out that he just dies instantly because I shoot him.
Yeah, because
He said
that was when he
guy
had
who-
dysentery, right? And he just couldn't physically do the fight scene.
Yeah. He said the guy was so mad. He's like, he died for like 3 minutes when I shot him.
Is that why it took him so long?
Oh,
The Yeah, it's funny that you mention that particular, because I never thought of that from that guy's standpoint.
Yeah.
So
He's
is
like
that
the
why they
guy-
let him go like for so long, brandishing the sword around?
I guess because I guess they felt Harrison Ford said they just felt bad because the dude, he's like he died so quickly because he's like I guess I see I didn't know that I didn't know the dysentery thing, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's
like whatever had happened on that day, like Harrison Ford was like super sick
yeah,
and just couldn't physically do the scene, or at least that's what I've read multiple times. So I'm
Yeah.
I've seen it from multiple sources, so I'm assuming that that is the case, because it would explain like why they did that, but that's got to
Sure.
be the best happy accident ever,
sure.
because that scene almost is like one of the best things for the Indiana Jones character.
When you think of Indiana Jones, I think of the sword guy, twirling the sword and gets shot instantly, and then I think of the guy that gets pressed in the temple.
Yeah, those. And then I do like the throwback in Temple of Doom where he tries to do the same thing, but he's out of bullets.
Yes. Well, because I didn't know that. Because maybe since I saw it in the order, I didn't know Temple of Doom came second.
Yes.
To yeah. Well,
And
then the Last Crusade, and that was it.
Yeah, Last Crusade was really good because I remember watching that in the theaters.
Yep.
Because
And then there's no more Indiana Jones movies after that. I wish they would make another one.
yeah, there's Crystal Skull. Those are all right.
It's
Unless
no,
you're one of
Ross.
those people who somehow aliens existing in the Indiana Jones world is somehow the thing that breaks you of
It is.
enjoyment.
It is because that movie was garbage. I can't believe they're making another one. They need to recast Harrison Ford. I'm sorry, Indiana Jones should be like James Bond. You just recast him as somebody else because
I'm guessing they're just gonna like pass the hat on
they was going to for that one guy, and
Shia.
and everyone's like, no, he's not my Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I think he had also done a few things around that time that did not endear him to people. So
Well, you handicapped the character right off the bat because
gave him a switchblade or whatever.
well, no, he was dumb. I mean, he wasn't smart. He admitted that he wasn't smart. So I'm like, okay, why would I want this character being Indiana? So
This is true. Well, it's funny because there was a brief period where it was like, oh, they might do Chris Pratt, and it was like,
Sure.
okay, but now the world, it feels like, is on Chris Pratt overload. So now it would be a bad idea to
Sure.
have Chris Pratt, probably.
I don't know who you would. God, I hope it's not The Rock. They do it.
I was
but-
just thinking, Ryan Reynolds could probably pull it off
No,
because
no,
that's like
well,
a smart alecky
well,
character.
So since we're talking about this, there's a scene in Red Notice where Ryan Reynolds is dressed up like Indiana Jones, and he's actually humming the theme song as they're going through the jungle, and The Rock's like, "Shut up, just shut up."
I don't know. In this poster, he's got very nice stubble. I feel like that's a large part of the Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
look.
but see, Indiana Jones. See, Harrison Ford. I picture Harrison Ford as being smart. I don't picture Ryan Reynolds. I picture Ryan Reynolds as a frat boy who failed out of college.
That's fair. I can see that.
So,
Doing YouTube ads for alcohol.
yes. He's a influencer that
As soon
failed
as I
out of
start
college.
seeing the same YouTube ad constantly, I'm pretty much done with your product
Sure.
because those ads just annoy me. I mean, it's fair. There's like a free platform to watch videos of whatever you want. They should be able to get a little bit of advertising revenue, but
Yeah.
the fact that it went from like 1 to 2 and now sometimes 3 that I can't skip, it's hard. They're still not getting my money for YouTube Premium. It's never happening, but
Yeah.
they push me closer and closer every time. So since we're not going to be like all spoilery about it, like you didn't like it.
No.
This is Red Notice. The the draw that you came for of Wonder Woman, old gal there, not in the movie enough.
It's just not good. It's yeah. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's just not good.
I mean,
Watch Indiana Jones instead.
Yeah, you'll be better.
Yes.
I mean, that's a fair thing. Or Shawshank. If you got extra time, just watch Shawshank Redemption. You're not going to be sad. Like, I was talking about Shawshank yesterday to someone I work with, and they were more excited. Like, not that I get excited about movies, but their face lit up just remembering that Shawshank existed.
Sure.
My guess is they will tell me on Monday that they have watched it because it was brought up. Because that's how that movie is.
Sure.
All right. Well, did you watch anything else, or is that pretty much it for your watching of like normal TV?
I want to say that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really watch anything. I did some overtime and stuff like that this week. Fought with plumbing. So, let's see here. I did play a couple video games. So, I'm going to do that real quick.
Okay.
Get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
All right. So, one of the things I played, do you have the Epic Games launcher store thing on your computer?
No.
Okay.
Maybe. No. I do not.
So they do the free game of the week. And even though I don't spend money with Epic Games, I do make sure to log in weekly and get my free games.
Okay.
The library is quite extensive now. I think the plan is that you'll have so many free games that eventually you just kind of use that, and then maybe you start buying stuff there, like as opposed to Steam. It has not worked for them. I take that back, because they had the exclusives for Tony Hawk, so I have bought Tony Hawk from them.
Yeah.
But one of the free games is Guild of Dungeoneering.
Okay.
So it's single player, but it's kind of like the combat is like card based, and so you have like I think you're technically the bad guy in it, or something. Like, I didn't really like. There's like voiceover stuff and music that's pretty good, but so you have like you build like a guild hall, and then you can recruit your dungeoneers or your hero characters, and then you can send them into a dungeon. And when you're in the dungeon, the way it works is you start in a room, but there's like a bunch of empty space around you, and you have an objective. Like, say you need to get to a certain chest, or there's a rat king to fight. Well, there's like you draw cards, and the cards in the first part have a monster of some kind.
What's this game called? I'm trying to find it.
Guild of Dungeoneering. Hold on, I'll send it to you.
We got it.
But yeah, so when you're on the map, and the art style, I like the art style, but I could see people hating the art style. It's that more like hand drawn, not super refined look.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so like when you're in the dungeon, like, so I don't know how the deck system works for it, but there's like rooms, hallways, corridors, things like that. So you're trying to fill out the map to get to where your objective is, but you can play like treasures, monsters, rooms, and then your guy moves, and like in some cases you got to use like treasure. Like if you have like a big diamond, you're trying to kind of prod your guy to move the way you want him to. And then so the combat is fairly simple. It's kind of like a rock paper scissors, where you might have a shield, like, so they do red and blue, physical and magic damage. Blue is magic. Like, you might have like a blue shield, and the guy might be doing a blue attack, so you can block that. Or, you might have something that does like a blue attack, but it'll block red, and so you can block their attack and hit them. And that's based on like kind of gear you find as you're building the dungeon out as you go.
Okay.
They have like different classes that get like different abilities. There's if you ever played any of the Diablo type games or any game where you can get like a temporary buff, there's like fountains in the game, and that'll give you like a little bit of a buff or like a trait to your character. So now I haven't played a ton of it, but I played a couple hours just like messing around with it. And for a free game, it's actually like, I mean, it's a real game. I think the thing is they have like the Ultimate Edition. So I'm assuming they did the normal one free, like hoping to entice you to buy like the remastered. But
Gotcha.
If you have an Epic Games account and you like kind of like a dungeon crawly turn-based game, it's a lot of fun for free. I mean, you don't really have to get much use out of it for it to be worthwhile. But
I see Hearthstone stealing this idea eventually. Because I mean, it sounds neat.
I wish they would, because I would much prefer it to what's it called? To Mercenaries. Because I liked Mercenaries for a bit, but then it got to the point to where it was
Competitive?
Well, I heard someone refer to it as the ding desert, like when you ding a new thing, like in the beginning it is plentiful, and then all of a sudden there's nothing but just sorrow for a very long time.
Well, I saw like a lot of streamers were playing it that plays Hearthstone,
Yeah.
and now they're all back to normal Hearthstone.
I think it's one of those things that it was fun for a while, but I guess there was like that thing that you could do to kind of farm like your tasks or whatever for the people.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of that, or they nerfed it to where it had to be something else. And it seems like if you want to play the PvP to kind of like max your dudes out, like that was the most efficient way. So once you put in like a real, like, not that they put it in, but once it turns out that there's like a super efficient way to do something, and then you remove that, once people figure out a new way to do it, if it's super difficult, it doesn't really feel good. Because you're like, oh, I used to be able to do this so much easier. I'm not that committed to this mode.
Sure.
Now, of the people still playing, I'd bet the percentage that bought like the crazy pre-orders, not even knowing what it was for, it's probably those people. Like some of your high-end PvP players or whatever. Now, you did mention Hearthstone. Have you looked at any of the new expansion stuff?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen it, but I have not.
So they are doing like the hero cards again, like they did with Death Knights.
Yeah.
And they're using like the mercenaries for it.
Oh, okay.
So I always like when you can get like a new hero power ability combo. Some of the cards that I've seen look kind of cool. I still don't think I'm going to spend money on it though. I'll use some of my gold to buy some packs probably like I did last time, but
Sure.
I am like Platinum 4. Not that that's like super high, but in Wild. And I've been playing the exact same deck every game. There's the Hunter Quest where you can what's it called? Like you basically just get like a free hero power that refreshes every time you spin a card.
Yeah.
And I've just pretty much obliterated people until I run into like certain stupid decks that I just like. I went on turn 6 a lot. There are decks that beat me before turn 6, and it just feels gross.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But yeah,
That's why I like
Classic.
That's why I like Classic, because like turn 9 and 10, if you're playing a druid, you're getting ready to lose. So you got to beat them before.
Right. Well, I think like because Warlock and Hunter for the Classic are the most aggro, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then I'm sure there's the occasional priest that the divine inner fire combo works for them, and then they feel real good because they won one game that way after losing like 8.
So I have a priest set because he uses the pyromancer.
Yeah.
And if you can get the pyromancer and the what are they called?
The cleric.
Not the cleric, the one that it gives you +3, that one card, or +2 health. You
Oh,
just put
the
that
light warden.
Yeah,
I
and you
think.
just put that. I forget what it's called, but anyway, you put that on the pyromancer, and you can have him just rocking for a while.
I forgot about that deck. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 'cause I think it's the light warden that every time a character is healed, it gets the plus.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't played Classic in a while just because I've really enjoyed this Hunter deck.
Yep.
So, like, I didn't even intend to get that far on the ranking. But once I got, like, all the way through gold, I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to keep playing this a bunch because I'm having a good time, even though it's, like, the same game. Like, the only thing that they really do that I care about is if they're hitting me in the face a lot, I have to decide if I want to hit them minion-wise a couple times.
Gotcha.
I never have minions on the board, hardly ever. So, I mean, it's basically like solitaire. Maybe that's why I'm liking it so much. Like, can I click all the shiny spells quick enough? So,
all right, well, let's go to AEW since we are 15 minutes into here. So.
Yeah, we got maybe a little bit more time, but somewhere in that range. So, here we go.
I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue pants.
This is a revolution.
All right. So, as we come to you now, you can hear my dog celebrating in the background. Hangman Page is your new world champion.
Yep.
And how did you like the match? Because I guess it got, like, on the Meltzer meter, it was like a 6-star match.
Really?
I think so.
I didn't think it was. I mean, I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was like the best match I've ever seen.
Right, yeah. I didn't, like, the match itself, I cared about it, but the end result is what mattered to me.
Well, I think it's more impressive once you find out that Kenny Omega was actually hurting a lot in his shoulders and everything.
His he didn't have shoulders for the match.
So knowing that and the stuff that he was doing is pretty impressive, you know. So
yeah. Well, I mean, like everyone always says, like the adrenaline you get.
Sure.
It is a credit because it sounds like from a couple of the interviews, like he really, really was intent one way or the other on finishing out the Hangman story.
Yeah.
Just because my assumption would be he knew it's a big deal for Hangman and like the Hangman character. Like,
sure,
it needed to be him.
Sure.
That he fought. So that's not the smartest idea in one sense, but I mean, he is an EVP level, so he has the interest of the company in mind as well. So I'm sure he knew that it's going to make a stronger character that you're going to build around.
And there's some people that don't like him, but Kenny Omega kind of reminds me a lot like Shawn Michaels as far as storytelling goes.
Yeah.
You can tell he's very story-driven.
Right.
And, yeah, so, I mean, I don't blame him. I'll be like, no, I want to lose the Hangman. I'm going to do this match.
Yeah.
I'm just going to
do a
cowboy
good
it up.
match.
Cowboy it up, so to speak, and be off for a couple months because I tore my body up. So.
And then he was like, and he might beat me, but I'm going to give him a new nickname, Hanger. So I'm going to have the final laugh.
I was disappointed that Hangman didn't kick out of the one-winged angel, but I guess they're just saving that, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, the
Or
reality...
they're saving it for somebody else.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't... I could see there might have been... Because, like, I kind of thought it was going to happen, too. But, I mean, he didn't really need it. Now, if he had been getting... And actually, like, what happens on Dynamite kind of proves that, I think, a little bit. If he was, like, doing really good but not quite as well as he was, I could see where you would throw that in on top of it. But, I mean, the crowd reaction he was getting, it was like, you didn't need to give it to him.
Well, and the story that they're still going with, you know, the sad little cowboy type thing, or he's over the cowboy, little sad little cowboy.
Yeah.
But people won't leave it alone because they got me thinking that Bryan Danielson's going to beat him. So,
Already? Well,
yeah.
because so overall, Full Gear. Did you enjoy Full Gear?
I don't think it was the best one I've seen this year, but it was all right.
Right. Well, and I thought it was funny because I think they did like 150,000 or 140,000 for their buys, so it's up significantly from last year.
Sure.
But they're like, well, yeah, but it dropped off from All Out or whatever. And it's like, well,
All Out's
All Out's their WrestleMania, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
2,
yeah, exactly.
you had CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Adam Cole, and Ruby Soho. You can't match that show.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you compare, not that you can do it easily, but I would bet any other pay-per-view compared to WrestleMania doesn't do as well.
It's like comparing it in your house versus WrestleMania. I mean, of course.
Yeah. Right. Well, I would say more like maybe a Survivor Series.
Okay.
Something like that, because I mean, Full Gear was a good card.
Yeah.
Like the Inner Circle top team stuff.
That's the only thing that I hated.
I did not care for it, but the crowd seemed into it, which made me want to question. Like, I mean, when I was watching, the crowd was pretty active
towards the end, sure, but it just seemed like it just went on way too long.
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
the crowd was like, okay, yeah, beat him up, please. Let's get this over with.
I had wished that would have been earlier on in the show, but and then you had like the weird FTR Lucha Bros finish. I don't know what was going on with that.
Oh, so you didn't? So from what I read, is Dax Hardwood.
Yeah,
I think it was Dax. He had a concussion, and he was actually kind of knocked out a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why they did what they did. I think they were going to do that anyway, but to the point where
they went to it quicker.
They went to it quicker because I think that they said he was incapacitated, so that's why he just hid underneath the ring.
Oh man!
And the other guy, Wheeler, put on the mask. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. Who knows?
Right.
It would make sense because that ending was terrible.
Oh yeah. No, because I was watching, I was like, "That's it." I was like, if that is true, because I could see them doing that as part. Well, usually they don't use concussions as a story. Like they would use a different injury as a story point if they were trying to like make it kind of like, what's really going on?
Well, AEW didn't say anything about the concussion. That was just a rumor, so it would make sense. That
right. Or they wanted like just a weird finish.
Well, that and Hangman's was it Hangman? There was another weird ending too. I was like, that was weird. Maybe it was. There was another weird ending that I was just like, that was weird. Why would you end it like that?
I can't remember.
This is the problem of doing 2 weeks out and not doing a show because I forget.
Yeah, right. But yeah, like overall, I liked it. Did you like the Kingston Moxley fight?
Oh, Kingston and Punk?
Or yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Full Gear and it looks like Moxley on the poster, but it's not.
Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And he had kind of a Rock Hogan moment there.
Yeah.
Where the fans were turning on Punk a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to end up being a heel. I wonder if we're going to get heel Bryan and Punk as like a super group.
I mean, I'd be up for that because I was like, because at first I didn't know where they were going with Bryan Danielson, and I was like, they're going to make him a heel here.
I mean, they clearly pivoted due to the whole Moxley thing, but
yeah. So, do you think Bryan Danielson has the heel role that Moxley was going to play?
Yes, but it's more Daniel Bryan style than Moxley style. But
sure,
yeah. The something I noticed while I was watching the Punk match was I think there was only like 4 or 5 actual like what you would call like a bump in the match, because there were 3 suplexes when he did the 3 amigos. They did the top rope spot, and Eddie I think hit the 1 exploder suplex.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it was all striking and like running people into stuff.
Sure.
Like, there wasn't a ton of like wrestling moves at all. Like it really was like a fight.
Well, I thought it was neat, and they had me going for a little bit. That when Eddie Kingston just knocked out Punk right off the bat, I was like,
Yeah,
"Whoa!" And
he got the shuriken straight away.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
neat.
It was. I did not see that coming. And I don't know. They both did really good of making it feel like a fight. Like you're not getting Punk's like actual entrance. He's just coming down the ring and fight. He's got like the fight trunks style on.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It was short, yes, but it was real good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
But all right, let's jump over to Dynamite real quick because I'm sure people, if you're into recap stuff, you've probably listened to a ton of Full Gear. But so we start out. It's Cowboy Day basically.
Yep.
And Hangman Page comes out with the ugliest jacket ever to me. That's what I remember.
But his whole outfit was terrible.
The
shirt he was wearing.
The cowboy attire is very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff, like the rock and roll denim brand stuff that he wears, is usually really good.
Yeah.
The jackets, I don't know. Did you see? I don't know how I missed it. I mean, I don't do Instagram much, but I guess he actually did have a picture of, I assume, his Tesla with Longhorns attached to it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, I saw that.
There was the press release he did that I thought was pretty funny. Which I assume he makes those himself. Like, because he has like graphic design stuff, so.
His character, like you said, maybe because I expect I expect a different portrayal of a cowboy, I guess, than what he gives sometimes. So sometimes he does stuff, I'm just like, that's not really a cowboy, but whatever, you know.
Well, yes, but he explained what cowboy stuff is, and it doesn't necessarily mean being a cowboy.
I legitimately think he is a cowboy.
Yes.
I think he is, so, I mean,
he can ride a horse.
Yeah.
I had seen...
I've seen on the Instagram of his farm and everything. So, yeah.
The only thing that made me sad, but not really, on his press release is he doesn't want to do a million podcasts or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I wish he would do one. Like maybe he would do the AEW Unrestricted podcast or something. But
yeah.
The thing is, like, when I see someone on like a podcast like a dozen times, in like a short span, nobody asks good questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because they aren't allowed to or what, but it's like, yeah, you're like the 14th person who's interviewed him. You know all these questions have been answered.
Yeah.
Ask some good stuff. Figure out his breakfast cereal.
And I think I think Chris Jericho does the best. I think he needs to go on Chris Jericho's podcast.
That'd be pretty good.
Yep.
But yeah, so we get like the celebrations going. I mean, they stop him pretty quick with Bryan Danielson coming out. Yeah. And so do you think they were like, all right, this is going to go one of two ways? They're going to hate Bryan Danielson, or they're going to love him and start booing Hangman? Like, do you think they had good faith in the hometown crowd that Hangman was going to continue to be cheered?
The AEW fans, I think they're pretty good at understanding. Like Adam Cole, for example. He's a good example of that. They cheer him at the beginning because they like his interests and everything. Yeah. But they understand he's a heel. So they boo him as a heel.
Well, and he does.
And I think
he does bad guy things.
Yeah, so I think AEW is, and not to say that WWE fans are not as bright. I don't know. Right. It just seems like AEW fans are better at, like, okay, I understand he's a heel, so I will boo him as a heel.
And AEW also hasn't done with Bryan Danielson what WWE was doing when everything got hijacked all the time.
Sure.
But yeah, so he came out, like, were you like, oh, because at first I was like, you know what? He's going to, like, it's going to be like the face versus face thing, but he's going to kind of be the heel in it. And then it went to, oh, man. And, like, by the end, I was like, well, if that was a long-term heel term, he nailed
it. Sure.
Because it was like, oh, man, that's enough to get him booed, and he's the bad guy. And then he would do something else. And then he'd go even a step further. Because at one point, him and Hangman were both laughing. Like, I don't know if you caught that.
I did,
like,
yeah.
Because, like, Hangman was doing, like, the hand over the mouth thing. And Danielson was just outright, like, just... I don't know if it was laughter or if he was just, like, so pleased. Like, I didn't think it would be this easy.
Sure.
So I hope someone asks him about that one day if he does an interview. Either one of them. But Hangman's confident throughout this, so that's good.
They have me believing that Bryan Danielson's going to be the next champion.
Yeah, like already.
Which, like you and me have all talked about, heel champions are better.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I hope they give him
okay with that.
at least like one like normal defense before he does that. But
sure.
Now, if the story becomes that like Danielson beats him, but then he's gonna be the guy to get like he'll get the belt back off him.
Yeah,
that's okay. Like Danielson does something smarmy, or who knows, maybe CM Punk interferes.
Well, I think now how I think it's going to go is I think he beats Bryan Danielson and then MJF beats him because they're really playing up MJF's going to be the next guy.
Yeah, or they're at least starting that push where he's going to get it before long. Now, but yeah, so and then he beats Evil Uno in a pretty good match.
Sure. Which I would hope he would.
Right. Well, the way Uno's been presented, for sure. It's super weird because if they just want to flip the switch to get Dark Order serious for a while, they're all really good in the ring.
Sure.
Like, I mean, John Silver kind of outshines a lot of people. Although Stu Grayson still has the best finisher in wrestling. So, but yeah. And then Danielson, after beating Evil Uno, continues to make the crowd hate him he's going to dismantle the poor Colt Cabana in Chicago.
Yeah. Yes.
Which, sorry, Colt, you have no chance in that match.
The way AEW has presented Colt Cabana, I don't see Colt Cabana beating Sonny Kiss at this point. Just because Colt Cabana just seems as just a comedy act, which I think that's what he is.
I mean, he does serious stuff, but yeah, he's more like a have fun kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm assuming had to be planned that this is the route to go because they got Hangman in his hometown. You get Colt, who's really big in Chicago. So I'm assuming Moxley was going to do the same thing.
Sure.
Like, most likely, and it would make sense. But I guess we'll find out.
I did like, and he might have said this last week, but I like how Bryan Danielson said to somebody, like I said, it might have been this week or it might have been last week, where they were talking about fighting him. He's like, whoa. Dynamite's a little bit too big for you. He's like, you're more of an elevation.
Wasn't that Punk to Kingston?
Wasn't it?
I think it was.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Either way, that was a great line. I enjoyed that.
Well, but speaking of Eddie Kingston, he's going to have a match with Daniel Garcia coming up. They interrupted him.
Yep.
And Kingston,
Garcia and the Nasty Boys came up and
Well, I thought it was great that like Kingston was like, I just want to do one of my promos without being interrupted. I'm going to catering.
I don't understand why they don't use 2.0 more, because I think 2.0 is better. Is a better tag team than the Acclaim, and I don't understand why the Acclaim's getting the big push right now.
I mean, they keep losing. I think that what they're doing though is like 2.0 and Garcia got like a ton of time and has done a lot recently. But if you're not planning for them to immediately go on some kind of run, it's not that bad to let them kind of like hang out for a little while, because like they do seem to rotate like who's doing stuff.
2.0 is better trained on television work than the Acclaim is, and you can just see it. And that's why I would use 2.0 on like Dynamite and Rampage, because that's what you want.
Right. But I think
I don't know.
My assumption would be that they're going to be getting beat and they already lost a whole lot.
Sure.
Like they've had some fantastic stuff, but
Yeah.
they haven't really won anything. So it's like, yeah, we don't want, like, it's not time for you guys yet, so we don't want to keep beating you. So we're gonna have the Acclaimed fill that role for a little bit.
Sure.
So did you know, or are you familiar with Tomohiro Ishii at all?
No.
Do you hate him because he has lied with best friends?
No.
Hate's a strong word, but
I just don't watch this match.
okay. I guess Butcher tore a bicep in this match. I was reading somewhere. I don't know if that's
poor
true.
guy. He might be injury prone because it seems like he just gets hurt a lot.
I think he's older, isn't he?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so they're building up.
Because from what I read, the Blade also suffers from anxiety attacks and everything. So it just seems like the Butcher and the Blade. It might take them a while before they get off the ground because they get hurt
I think because I know Blade's like been around forever, so he's like an older guy. So I mean, I doubt it was ever intended that they're going to be like, you know, beating the Bucks and doing like an Ultimate Warrior pin on them or anything like that. But
sure.
yeah, it's unfortunate. At least they know they're probably not going to get released while they're injured. And
It's true.
even though Butcher might be injured, Blade can still like be on TV. Like it's not like, oh nope, can't even be on TV.
Yes. You're banished.
Yeah. The Butcher, you're cut. Sorry.
I think the only person that WWE did not do that to in recent memory is the Uso. I think was it Jimmy? They kept Jimmy in with Roman Reigns the entire time, while the other guy was doing whatever he was doing.
Yeah, he had some issues to deal with.
Yeah.
So we're gonna they're continuing the Dax and Cash with Andrade thing where I guess they're gonna work for free on this one.
Yeah.
We got Tully threatening Arn.
That is something I do not want to see.
If they play like a video game against each other, that's fine. But yeah, I did.
Well, because I think Tully can still go. I know Arn can't go. So
No, like Arn can do a spine buster, but it worries me.
Even the spine buster, they're probably like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like he does that like once every couple months, and then that's it. I'm trying to think. We had Nyla Rose and Sheeta had another match where they killed each other. Not like bad, but they just always seem to beat the crap out of each other.
That's their right. They have a rivalry.
Yeah. So Malachi Black. I'm just trying to kind of speed through here towards the end. Like, are you still digging his presentation?
They need to have him start winning because now he just seems like Bray Wyatt. He just spouts off some stuff and then loses.
He's been stuck to Cody for so long.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
If they move him on from Cody, but as long as he like, because he came in strong, like he obliterated Cody. I was like, all right, like it just needs to expand a little bit. But
he needs to go and haunt somebody else now.
I like that. Yeah, he's haunting them.
Yes.
So MJF and CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean that might be pretty good.
I'm wondering. I heard a real elaborate theory on one of the shows where CM Punk is actually a bad person. And he knew he could interrupt MJF and get the crowd back on his side.
Sure.
Because he was just mad at Eddie Kingston for interrupting him. So he goes and interrupts MJF.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, I don't know. Like, I'm wondering if we're going to get CM Punk and Daniel Bryan both heels, or Bryan Danielson, and then they team up.
Well, that's fine, but you need some good guys. AEW is lacking on the good guy front. So if you're going to turn, sure, that people hate. You got Hangman.
Yes.
I don't know. You just need more heavy hitter good guys that can take on Punk and everything.
Right. Well, I mean, I assume at this point you'll get Moxley back in a month or two. Maybe.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know how that whole thing works, like time wise, but
he's not going to be a heel.
at least not immediately. He's going to need a week or two as a good guy before he.
Yes.
I mean, he could probably do it, like you were saying though. Like the crowd's in on it, so to say. So he'd get like the entrance return, and then they're like, "Oh, he's a bad guy now." Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And he actually knows the right things to say. But yeah. So I watched this match this morning. Darby ends up fighting Billy Gunn.
Did you like how Darby cracked up laughing when
after Billy walked away? He was like, "Screw it, yeah, let's do it, whatever."
Well, because the one Billy Gunn's son, like Cuddles or whatever he says, and that's what it made Darby Allin crack up laughing.
No, he was doing the "I like turtles" thing, like the zombie, the kid that was dressed up as the zombie that was like, "No, I like turtles."
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was. I don't know if it was supposed to go that way, but it definitely showed like an interesting side to the Darby character, because it was like he's like, you know what, whatever, we'll just do it. That's fine.
Sure.
It was like, I don't think the crowd was into the match very much on Rampage, because I mean, I'm gonna say this and it sounds bad, and I don't really mean it that way, but it's Billy Gunn. Like, what are you expecting?
Well, no, they were chanting Mr. Ass. So,
I think that was at one of the kids, Colton or Austin.
Gotcha.
Would be my guess. But because Austin or that was actually just Austin Gunn chanting it himself, and it just filled the arena.
Yeah.
But like the match itself, I thought it was a good match for like small guy versus a monster, which my brain will never accept. Billy Gunn is as big as he is.
Yeah, he's because we're used to seeing him in WWE where he's around other big guys.
Well, he was around Kane and people like that are bigger than him.
So I mean, I guess it makes sense if you want to get Sting into another match, you would want him fighting Billy Gunn, because Billy Gunn is a pro and he's been around forever, so he knows how to handle someone like Sting. So although his punches. My God. And the way he throws Darby Allin around, I was like, you're going to kill him, man.
I mean, if people were more invested in Billy Gunn, like that it was a good match. Like, I mean, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to show people who don't watch wrestling this match to try to convert them to my cult. But
well, he could. I like Billy Gunn because he could throw punches like Scott Hall. They look real. They look real. So
yeah, no, the one where Sting was on his knees and he like did the measured punch. Yeah, like it looked like he really did just like punch. Maybe he did.
It makes things like, go ahead, just lay it into me. We'll apologize later.
Yeah. Let's see. So Leo Rush and Dante Martin got a win. Those guys do stuff that I just don't understand. Like how.
I'll just say that it's smart teaming up Leo Rush with Dante, because Dante is a piece of bread. He cannot do promos.
Piece of bread. He needs. I don't know. Hopefully Leo can pull out some additional personality from him.
I'd say that's why Leo's with him, because they probably can't pull out personality. I don't know.
I mean, someone will get to him. Because Leo Rush gets a lot of criticism from the retirement stuff or whatever, but I mean, he had family stuff going on, so for some reason people seem to be big to talk about mental health, but they don't want to give him the benefit to that. I guess, I don't know, maybe there's more to it. I'm not like super into it, but in ring he can definitely do some impressive stuff. Like if I think back to when my body was in its best condition, like mid-20s, I could not do pretty much anything that I've seen Dante Martin or Leo Rush do except for walk. Like, even their running, I could not do the way they did it. All right, Jay Lethal AEW debut. Are you a Jay Lethal guy?
Yeah, he should have beat Sammy.
I really, honestly thought he was going to.
Yeah.
Like, once they started doing the ribs, I was like, oh, they might actually be doing this. I don't know what they're going to do with Sammy.
I just think I just don't think Sammy is. I don't think he's going to get the TNT championship.
He's not going to make it better.
He's not going to make it better. I mean, you went from Miro to Sammy, and I just don't see Sammy doing it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel. And he's been involved with like a story that I don't care about, so that's definitely hurts. We'd have to.
Yeah.
I'd like to find somebody who was super into the Inner Circle, top team feud to see how they feel. But it was kind of the same. Like the beginning of Darby's run, he was involved with, like multi-man matches and didn't defend it a ton. And then once he started going, it was like, all right, now we're getting good. So it might be the same for Sammy. We'll have to see how it plays out.
I hope.
But I don't know. That's my feeling of it.
Sure.
Trying to think. I did not watch all of this, so this is jumping to Rampage real quick. Like Adam Cole and Bobby Fish against Jurassic Express apparently was an excellent match.
It was pretty good.
Considering you're not like the biggest fan of Jurassic Express,
No.
you thought it was really good though, or just good?
Yeah, because I think Adam Cole and that Bobby Fish made. I think they made him look good. That's what I'm saying.
Well, is it what it seems to be, where like Jungle Boy is good, but he also is a piece of bread, so to say, and then Luchasaurus does Luchasaurus stuff. What's that?
Yeah, that's why Christian's with them, because between the guy who growls and the guy who has no personality whatsoever, you need something in there. So that's why Christian's.
What if I got an idea for you?
No.
New team: Jungle Boy and Dante Martin.
Okay.
And they have a guy dress up as Ham, and they're the sandwich team.
Sure.
Because there's two slices of bread around like the ham. Like you could get like John Silver, the meat man, teamed with those two.
AEW has a real problem with the people they're trying to push. They're good in the ring. They are not good on TV at all, and you could tell. That's one thing I'll give WWE. The people that's been in WWE and came over to AEW, you can definitely tell because they have character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're also a lot of cases they're like the older people. Like,
sure.
Some of these guys, like, I feel for them because like Dante Martin probably, when he was getting in, he wasn't like, oh, AEW is going to be a thing. So he's in like a dream situation, but it's like, oh, I didn't even have time to develop a character. I was just doing like cool matches.
I mean, and that could be it. But the problem that there's so many good wrestlers out nowadays.
Yeah. That
actually are good on TV and doing promos. So I think a lot of AEW wrestlers need to start doing some promos in the shower or something.
Right.
Because,
well, and they don't get like the kind of like the house show tour. Like they have Dark, but you're not getting everybody on that. Or, I mean, I don't know that I want any more of them to exist, but start doing some vlogs where you're going around and just talking. Like Young Buck style, though, like not like some of the other ones where like you're actually doing like bits, basically, to figure out something that works. Like maybe you need to walk around full gear all the time and then eventually realize that you're just a cowboy.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, that is our recap, I would say, of things. Hey, are you shocked that WWE had let more people go?
No. I got a text. I think I sent a text out to you a couple months ago. It would not shock me at this point if they fire Roman Reigns and Randy Orton.
Yeah. I mean, Orton would be the next big name that I could honestly see them being like, you know what, we're paying him too much money.
Sure.
It is wild that their contract is set up that they can't get out of it, but they can let you go, but you can't work anywhere else or do anything else.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, yeah, because I saw the message from you that they let more people go because I wasn't, looking for that kind of news at all, and I was at work, and I didn't even react to it now. Like, I think I'm actually numb at this point, where it's going to take like a Seth Rollins or a Randy Orton for me to be like, oh wow, like for it to even register.
Sure. Well, I did like I read, and I'm not quick how much time we have, but I'll just go through this really quick. Randy Orton, how he wanted a camel during the Saudi Arabia event,
What?
Crown Jewel. So he wanted him and Bro King or whatever his
Oh,
name is,
okay.
RK Bro. So he wanted both of them to ride in. He wanted both of them to ride it in on a camel. Okay?
Right.
Well, I guess Mr. McMahon's like, no, Randy Orton does not ride camels, and it was his idea. So Riddle got to ride the camel in, and then Randy Orton did not, even though it was his idea to ride the camels. And I guess Riddle's like, I guess you're just not a camel guy.
What's funny is I would agree theoretically that the Randy Orton character wouldn't be a camel guy, but if he's been hanging around Riddle that long,
Sure. I don't know why you
maybe-
wouldn't allow, but yeah.
yeah, because it'd be like he doesn't have to look like super happy, or like you could do where like when Riddle's
You
not
could do
looking
it.
at him, he's enjoying himself, but he doesn't want Riddle to know it. Like
Sure.
slowly let Randy Orton have some fun as a character.
Yeah, but I guess at Crown Jewel, Vincent McMahon just nixed it. So yeah, he's like, Riddle can have it, you cannot, because Randy Orton does not ride camels. And he's like, it was my idea.
Like
So
I've tried to
Randy
decide
Orton got
'cause,
shot down.
like I agree. Like I definitely agree that normal Randy Orton, not a camel guy. Like it would be
Yeah.
weird. But I mean, social media Randy Orton is definitely a camel guy.
Sure.
So when you started telling that, like I forgot all about Crown Jewel, and I
Sure.
thought that Randy Orton was wanting, like in real life, a
random-
camel
Like
as part of like a contract. Like instead of like, oh, I want a car or a bus or like I want a camel.
No.
And I was like, my brain was trying to figure out how, like, what went on in the world to make that situation happen.
No, yeah. No, at Crown Jewel, he wanted to ride in on a camel. And they said, Riddle can, you cannot. And they said Randy Orton was really disappointed because he really wanted to ride it in on a camel.
I like that it's not like Randy Orton was mad. He was just really sad that he didn't get. You think he wrote it backstage?
Who knows?
he was like, oh, these camels are sweet. I can't believe I can't ride one of these.
From the report that I read, they said Riddle was happy because that's that character's. He's goofy anyway, so the character, he enjoyed it. But he just told Randy Orton, he's like, you're just not a camel guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, anyway,
There should be a not a camel guy shirt. Yeah. No, that was worth taking a few minutes here. So, all right, we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back. See you guys later.
See you.